Hi, I'm Luke Bocock, a Research Director at the National Foundation for Educational Research.
And I'm Morrison Coulthard, also a Research Director at the National Foundation for Educational Research. Artificial intelligence dominated the headlines in 2023, and 2024 is likely to be no different. Technological breakthroughs will continue to change the jobs that are available in the labour market and the skills that are needed to do them. The effects of automation and artificial intelligence will be further compounded by social, environmental and economic changes, including those brought on by Brexit. These changes threaten to make existing skills challenges worse. These don't just cost the economy, they have damaging consequences for individuals who cannot access satisfying, well-paid work, and they threaten to widen social inequalities. There is currently no coordinated plan across government to address the growing challenge of skills shortages. We need that strategy. But to develop it, we first need a detailed, data-driven understanding of the future demand for skills and anticipated mismatches between supply and demand, particularly for the skills that will be most utilised across the labour market. We need to identify the groups in the labour market most at risk from anticipated changes and to understand the factors most strongly associated with young people's skill development. We also need to draw lessons from high-performing countries and how their education and training systems compare with our own. Then we need to use our research insights to identify how best to respond to the challenges ahead. For example, what role can employers play and how can they be encouraged and incentivised to invest in skills development? How can government cushion the impact of structural changes in the labour market on the groups most likely to be adversely affected? And how can educators best prepare young people for jobs of the future? Together, we need to understand how we can help more individuals already in the workforce to upskill and reskill for the future, how government can help increase young people's average skills levels, and how educators can best support the development of young people's skills.
Skills Imperative 2035 Essential Skills for Tomorrow's Workforce is a 5-year research programme which is developing insights into each of these areas. We're 2 years into the programme and this is just a little of what we've done and what we've learned so far. Initially, we worked with Warwick Institute for Employment Research and Cambridge Econometrics to anticipate changes in the jobs that will exist in the future. Our baseline employment projections capture the impact of both industrial and occupational change on jobs, and our alternative scenarios model the impact of a faster uptake of automation and AI. These scenarios make the same assumptions about job displacement, but different assumptions about job creation. Whereas the first main scenario projects new job creation mainly in the tech sector, the other scenario places more emphasis on job growth in education, health and care services, a human-centric model. By separating out the negative and positive impacts of the adoption of automation-related technologies, we show how the structure of employment is likely to be disrupted, highlighting those areas where significant job losses might be expected and contrasting them with those where job gains might be anticipated. As you can see from this chart, our projections suggest structural change in the economy and labour market will continue, slowly but steadily, impacting the jobs available and the skills needed to do those jobs. While some industry sectors are set to form a greater share of UK employment, for example non-market services, including health and education, others, notably manufacturing, will experience significant job destruction. Millions of jobs could be replaced by technology. Some sectors, such as transport, will experience significant displacement. Substantial changes are also expected in the occupational structure of employment, with some occupations, for example, care workers and programmers, expected to grow, whilst others, such as administrators, receptionists and warehouse operatives, are likely to decline. Most new jobs will be in professional and associate professional occupational groups, with the number of professionals growing by nearly 20% between 2020 and 2035. This trend towards continued employment growth in higher paid, higher skilled jobs coupled with a decline in lower skilled jobs, is important because it increases potentially the risk of displaced workers becoming unemployed unless they have or can acquire the necessary skills to upgrade into other growing areas of the labour market. To identify the skills anticipated to be most widely utilised in the labour market in 2035, we worked with economists at the University of Sheffield, combining our employment projections with profiles showing the mix of skills that will be needed across different occupational groups in the future labour market. Our research clearly identified a set of skills used most intensively in employment today. For example, communication, collaboration, and problem solving. And projecting forward, there are changes in the relative importance of different skills, but the top 10 skills in highest demand in 2035 will be broadly the same as in 2020. Demand for these skills, which we call essential employment skills, will increase across the labour market, and by 2035, new jobs will be primarily created in occupations that require these skills to be most heavily utilised. Using our projections of the top skills for employment in 2035, together with the findings of an earlier literature review for the Skills Imperative 2035, we were able to identify 6 essential employment skills. These are collaboration, communication, creative thinking, information literacy, organising, planning and prioritising, and problem solving and decision making. Employers report experiencing a double skills gap, a lack of both technical skills and transferable essential employment skills that are crucial in the workforce. Surveys dating back to 2011 have consistently shown that employers struggle to find staff with sufficient essential employment skills when recruiting, and that they feel some people in their current workforce lack the essential employment skills they need to perform their jobs effectively. However, our understanding of skills gaps in the current workforce is heavily reliant on employer perspectives, and minimal attention has been given to the possibility that workers' perspectives may not align with employers, and that these perception gaps may have important implications for how to address skills gaps. We are extending the existing evidence base by gathering the missing perspective, the worker perspective, of their skills, behaviours and attitudes, and the skills needed to do their jobs effectively. To do this, we have developed the NFER Essential Employment Skills Survey, a first of its kind instrument for comparing the supply of essential employment skills with the level and importance of these skills needed in people's jobs. Over 11,000 16 to 65-year-olds have responded to our survey, which will allow us to project how skills mismatches are likely to change between now and 2035. We can't wait to share our findings with you this spring.